Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to Radio Works World. I am your vision host. I am Marion Bevington. And I'm so happy to be able to share this time with you today. And what I love about this platform, and I love about my friend Marina Nani, is that I have this opportunity to share with you some amazing wisdom, some amazing insights, but most importantly, just to share with you some real experiences that life has provided me with that have given me tools and abilities that mean I have a better life today than I did yesterday. And I know that tomorrow it will be better again. So welcome to this vision show, and today the topic I want to discuss is about, and it's specifically a question that I was just discussing with Marina, and it's so important to me because the beginning of the conversation that I just had with Marina before the show, I received a compliment from Marina. And it actually made me blush. I could feel my face going a bit red because it was awkward. I felt awkward. That's the best word I can use to describe it. And I felt awkward because to allow myself to receive, to take in the very positive, very loving message that Marina gave me, somehow it felt like it didn't fit. So, like a new pair of shoes, and you might have to squash your foot into them because it doesn't fit, or maybe the shoes are too big. It felt a bit like that, some new shoes that were the wrong size, that this information is not what I carry around in my head about myself. And that's why I think my head blushed, because it was a mismatch with the information inside my head. Now, when I received the information from Marina through my heart, and I did, and I can connect into that before the thought that made me go red triggered. But that's a very heart opening. It's almost like your heart melts and merges with the sentiment and the heart of Marina. So as the receiver that I was and the giver that Marina was, in the moment where the compliment landed on me, it's like we shared a moment of positive energy together. And it's a very intimate moment, but it's also a very unusual moment. And unfortunately, the reason I think that that's such an unusual moment is because of the type of society that we have been living in, because of the type of society that created the social conditioning, the educational standards, the roles and rules and regulations of who I am, how I fit into society, and who I have to be in order to maintain my role, playing by the rules, obeying the regulations, all of these things that society tries to do, this box. If you've seen me before, you'll know I do this box, squashing me into this box. Now, we need boxes because the boxes are the way that the mind can understand. So we learn something new because we can connect it to something that we already know. We can't learn something new if it doesn't connect to anything. So imagine trying to learn Japanese, right? The language Japanese. If you don't know any Japanese and suddenly you arrive in Japan and people start talking about things, you want to know what it is that they're talking about, don't you? So for example, if they're talking about a cup of tea, they're going to get the cup and they're going to say the word for tea and point inside the cup, or they might say cup. So I know what a cup is. I've got a box in my head that has the word cup. It's got an image of a cup. That box knows that I use a cup as a vessel to drink things from. It also knows that sometimes a cup can be very pretty and you put it on a shelf and you don't use it. They're useless in my house. I like to use cups. So this known of this object of the thing that I use to drink. And that known thing has got this box, this meaning box. And so anything that fits in with cup can go into that box. So obviously a box is very useful at the time, you know, if I'm going to learn a language, or if I want to go shopping, or if I want to wash the dishes, or if I want to make a cup of tea, all of these things, I need to know what cup is. But this type of learning and understanding is the only way the mind can make meaning. It can only make meaning from what it already knows. So we're adding on constantly to what we already know. Now, unfortunately, again, and it's not unfortunate because we can't change it, by the way, we can change this, but it's just the way things are set up from the society that we live in, the culture that we live in. When we are, until about the age of 6, we're just like a sponge. We're pulling in information, taking it in. We mirror our parents, we mirror our friends, we mirror the world around us, and that creates the framework for the boxes. So this is creating the overall platform for the boxes. And so when we start to learn new things, we can only lay them into what's already there. And with behaviours and who I am and how I fit into the world, that's generated as a child. My understanding of myself is generated by the boxes that are the roles, rules and regulations for me in this world. So I was brought up with Irish Catholic mother. My father had an Irish Catholic mother as well. I was brought up in a working class town near Liverpool. I'm a girl. Well, I'm a woman now. I'm still a girl, and I'm let me see what else I am. So Catholic girl, working class. From the northwest of England, so I'm English, but then my family. So all of these are boxes. All of these labels are the boxes that the mind uses to store information. Now the mind stores a box of information about me, and that is my identity. It's who I think I am. And who I think I am has got a lot of rules, regulations and roles from society as part of the framework of that box. Now, part of who I am in the conditioned self, this identity that I have, which is not me. I am not my identity. I am much more than the name Marion. I am much more than a gender, male or female. I am much more than a labelled religion, Catholic or non-Catholic, because that was what I was brought up with. You were either Catholic or you weren't. And I think most people who were brought up with religion have that, don't they? You know, you're Hindu or you're not. You're Protestant or you're not. You're Muslim or you're not. Whatever religion is, it's them and us, isn't it? That's one of the reasons why I don't really get on very well with religion. I'm very spiritual, and now I appreciate that even that I have spiritual or not. So that's got a box as well. And so when this identity that I have is like a coat that I wear, and it's the same with my personality. My personality and my identity are quite similar. So, but the personality is actually what other people see of me, and my identity is what I think of me. So they're almost like the identity is like the inside of my box, and the personality is like the outside of my box. So in my understanding of who I am and how I then play that role in the world, I can only judge if I'm getting it right by other people's responses to me. And this is where this is the unfortunate part. Unfortunately, because my parents were also conditioned and they believed that I should play a role, I should obey the rules, I should, take part in the regulations of being a girl called Marion, who's Catholic, from Birkenhead. this role for me is really, and it's not a reflection of the amazing, magical being that I am, this wonderful, unique self that I am. In yoga, we call it Atmanam, which is like myself with a capital S, the whole of me, including the identity, including the personality, including the spirit, the body, the mind, the soul, every part of me, which is huge, which is much bigger than this material being body. That huge part of me has to have, it's like it's been amputated to put me into this box. It's cut off all of these, like all of these extra senses, extra parts, all the spiritual parts of me. They've had to be cut off to fit me into this box. So as a woman, as a female in the society that I was brought up in, one of my roles is a caretaker. So, the women, and it's a natural aspect of the feminine, is to be caring. We have the capacity to bear children. So we therefore naturally have the capacity to rear the child, to look after the child, to nurture the child. I have breasts to feed a child. I have a womb to grow a child. So naturally, part of the feminine is this amazing capacity to nurture and bring up the next generation. And society has taken advantage of that and has given me a very limited set of roles, rules and regulations that mean that I am a caretaker. It is my job to give. I give my body over to produce the child. I give my body to feed the child. I give my time, my effort and my energy to rear and look after and bring up and take care of the family or the people around me. And we know, don't we, that it's always perceived as women's work, the type of work that's needed to keep the community, to keep the family together, alive, nurtured and looked after. The masculine energy is about an external territory. So, the masculine energy is to build the house. The woman makes the house nice on the inside. The man makes sure that the house is impenetrable, so it's safe on the inside. And then the man might go out to find the food to bring in, and then the woman cooks it. And obviously these lines are sometimes grey. They're not always black and white. But the general society conditioning that we have means we're in this box where we are a giver. As a woman, we give. From the inside, we give out. We look after the house on the inside, people, and we feed them. We constantly give our energy, our time, our body, our soul. We give everything. And that's the job that we've been told we have to do. That's the role we have to play. But where is there space in that role for the goddess, the light in me, the heroine in me, the courage in me, all of the beautiful parts of me that are uniquely me, but also what connect me to everyone and everything. It's like there is no room for this unique self. And I became a rebel when I was younger. We often go one way or the other, don't we? And I do have both sides. So I do want to be a caretaker, want people to like me, feel the need to look after me. And when I feel the need that they need to like me so that I can be looked after by society. But I have to do loads of the looking after, because it's like I'm managing everybody's state because I want people to continue to like me. So I'm trying to work out what they want so that I can give it to them, so that I'll feel safe and looked after. And so I'm constantly giving in order to receive, giving in order to receive. So I end up, it's like I'm unconsciously counting. And therefore, I feel if I if I receive too much, I'm going to owe loads. It's like I'm beholden. So when I receive good things, it means that now I've got to find more goodness in me to give out. And because my natural goodness that I naturally give out has never really been recognized, looking for artificial goodness to give out. So I'm looking for more time or more money or more of something, too much of something to be able to give back. And in that needing to give back, I am denying the fact that I automatically give back just by being. So it's like I have to do to give back. So I can't just be. I can't just be me. And I can't be me naturally and feel it's a giving place, especially when I've been conditioned to think that, you know, the rebel in me is naughty. But the rebel in me is one of the things that I now know is inspiring for other people. Because the rebel in me is all about me fighting to be me, not to be the labels, not to be the boxes, not to be stuffed in a container that limits me. The rebel in me is actually an attempt for me to be all of me, to encompass every milligram of who I am, every atom of who I am. To try to bring all of that in, I have to rebel against the box. I have to rebel against this constraining walls of the box. I have to rebel against the limits that the regulations have placed on me. Because if I don't rebel against them, I feel as though we'd all just get so squashed by that box. It would get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we'd die. We'd just get suffocated by the box. So the rebel in me is actually my way of expressing more of me than has been squashed into some conditioned box. Now, when I found it difficult to receive, now I'm finding it much easier because I am beginning to appreciate that the rebel isn't a bad thing. I'm beginning to appreciate that all that I experience within me is okay for me to express outside, whether it's perceived as good, bad, or indifferent by those outside of me. I've learned that trying to stifle, to stop myself being all of what I feel and to just do what other people expect of me, that does not help me. It blocks me, it limits me. And the conditioning that is part of the blocks and limits, the conditioning is what's in our head. The conditioning are the voices in the head. So this is before the age of 6. We were taking information in, part of what we're taking in is attitudes, is words, is sounds of the people around us when we were little, and how we could communicate with that person was by relating to that person. Oh, I've got an excellent example of this, actually, how we really mirror people when we're little. So my friend has a nursery, and her husband helps out in the nursery sometimes. And her husband is from London, and his parents are Caribbean. He's Jamaican. His parents are Jamaican. So Dave's a Londoner, so he's got a London accent. And when you say hello to Dave, one of the ways that he can say hello is he can say, "All right," with his kind of Caribbean accent. Excuse my Caribbean accent; it was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? "All right," something like that, he says. And his wife, Tracy, is my friend from Birkenhead. So she's got the same accent as me. And we say, "Hiya," when we speak in our sort of colloquial way. So she says, "Hiya," and Dave says, "All right." Well, the children that they look after in the nursery, they were telling me a story yesterday about this one little girl she's only 2. And already she's been with them for only a few weeks, I think. But already when she speaks to Tracy, when she says hello to Tracy, she goes, hiya, 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 Tracy. And when she sees Dave, she goes, all right. And she even does the body language. So with Tracy, she's all open and she looks and she has eye contact, which is what Tracy does. But Dave's quite cool and quite Caribbean. And he would say it and he wouldn't give you direct eye contact. He'd kind of glance at you and then he'll walk past you as he says it. And she does that. She copies the tonality, she copies the words, she copies the behavior, the angle of the head. She's totally copying what she's seeing when she's trying to relate to you. Because that's what communication is about, isn't it? It's about sharing and understanding. So if you can see that somebody understands something in a certain way and you want to share an understanding with them, you have to kind of meet them where they are. We have these neurons in the brain. I love talking about science. Excuse me. We have these neurons in the brain and they're called mirror neurons, brain cells that have the capacity to mirror our surroundings. And it's these mirror neurons, they have loads of effects on us. There's a really fabulous doctor, I think he's a neuroscientist, and he wrote a book called Phantoms in the Brain, and he mentions mirror neurons in this. But what the mirror neurons do is they are exactly what they say. That they are a mirror of the outside world. So if you've got a young child or you spend any time with a young child, then you'll recognise the story I just told you about Tracy and Dave. You'll recognise that young children, they just copy what you do. It doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter what you tell them, to the point of how they behave, because they will do what they see. My mum always used to say, monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey do. You just copy. It's the job of these mirror neurons to wire the brain in a way that it does what it sees. And so while we live in a very confined place, and in our society, we go to family homes or neighbours' homes, and then eventually we'll go to school. So we keep going to similar places all the time. So we're mirroring constantly similar stuff. Now, during the conversation I just had with Marina, what we realised was that one of the things that starts to change, and definitely changed my understanding of the world, it smashed some of the boxes that I have, was travelling. And I love travelling. It's been a deep love of mine since I was a teenager. I did summer holidays. I used to go to campsites in south of France and Spain and work during the summer holidays while I was still at school. And then when I was in university, one of my little goals was, when I finished university, I wanted to go to the Caribbean. I actually went to Jamaica. I didn't know Dave then, but I went to Jamaica. I had a friend that was living there, and it was a really cool opportunity to go, and I spent a few months in Jamaica. And to me, Jamaica made the biggest difference, because when I was in Europe, the boxes are similar. The structure of society and the cultures are very similar. But when I arrived in Jamaica, wow, talk about exploding those boxes' boundaries. It shatters these boxes. That experience of having all those boxes shattered can actually lead to what we would perceive as mental illness, because suddenly you don't know what to do. You don't know how to perceive and receive the world around you, because wow, all the boxes are falling apart because they didn't exist in Jamaica. In Jamaica, what I really learned was that how similar we are as people, and yet what different circumstances people can live under. I didn't even imagine what you experience when you see real poverty, and at the same time the strength of the human spirit. And then looking back at my life in Europe from a perspective in the Caribbean, where poverty, and I've travelled to many countries now where poverty is huge. And what I seem to constantly come across is that when I'm the less people have materially, the more access they have to their heart. So the people who live with nothing in the material world, they might not even have enough food. They would share their last bowl of rice with me. And even though I walk in as a Westerner who, from their world, they see Westerners, they see that we'd all be millionaires to them. They would still share their last bowl of rice with me, because that's the world that they come from. The world, they have so little. They don't have to own everything. They have to share everything. And it's so difficult to understand that when you come from the paradigm of the Western society, of the affluent society, of the rich society. I mean, think about it like this. So you've got your mobile phone and you've got your, you're checking your emails. You need Wi-Fi access. You're checking your Facebook account. You need Wi-Fi access. Now, it's devastating when you arrive somewhere and you can't get on the Wi-Fi. So many people get so upset because they can't get on Wi-Fi. And then imagine I dropped my phone recently and it smashed to pieces and I couldn't use it. I was devastated. I'd lost all my contacts. I'd lost my diary. It was like I'd lost a big chunk of my identity. It just got smashed and thrown out the window. And then when you think about somebody in Africa or somebody in South America or somebody in Asia, some poor, poverty-stricken child who, I mean, we could go to worst-case scenario. They're in a war-torn country. Their parents have been killed. They may even have witnessed it, and they don't even have a boat. They don't even have clean water to drink. And there's me worried about not having Wi-Fi access, devastated by not having Wi-Fi access. And if I did meet that child on the street and I could give them a bottle of fresh water to drink, they'd probably want to share it with me. They'd probably want to give me half of it. Now, how easy would I find it to receive that? Because now I've got this mental judge, and I've judged that they've got less than me, therefore they've got more needs than me, therefore I must give, I must give, I must give. And it's my job, so layered on top of that, it's my job in society, in the culture, to give, because I'm the woman who needs to look after the child. So I might be tempted to that child with the bottle of water to say, no, it's yours, you drink it all, you drink it all. But actually, if you were that kid and you just received some water and there was a person there who you were grateful to and you wanted to enjoy the water, isn't it nice to share? Isn't it nice to sit down and have, you have some water, I have some water, let's drink and enjoy the water together? Because I think one of our inherent mammalian human needs is to be loved and connected. And in connection, it's not just about receiving love, it's about being able to give love. Because when I give love, when that love is received, I automatically receive a great sense of satisfaction. I automatically have to accept and love myself to be able to give that love to somebody else. Or if it's respect, I can't give real respect to somebody unless I have it inside me, because then I can share it from within me. And because I'm sharing it, as I give it, I am also receiving. So think about the last time you gave somebody a gift. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. Think about the last time you gave somebody a gift. And remember, when you gave them that gift, how wonderful it felt when that person received the gift and said, oh, this is perfect. This is lovely. Marina gave me the gift of a beautiful bunch of flowers a few weeks ago. Oh my God, they were so beautiful, the flowers. And she said that they just reminded her of me, because the colours that they were and the form that they were. And we had a beautiful moment where we shared these flowers together that she'd chosen and then I was taking home, but we both got a massive boost in our heart, if you like, a massive heart opening experience from this communication, this relationship between the two of us as we related. And she'd seen something that reminded her of me that she believed I would love. She gave them to me and I loved them. So she really enjoyed the experience of giving me those flowers. She was so satisfied and fulfilled by being able to offer something to me. So she received satisfaction and fulfillment by giving me that gift. And I received satisfaction and fulfillment because I could see how happy she was that she'd chosen a gift that I loved, and how happy I was that she'd given me a gift that I loved. Now imagine that situation if, there's two sides now, if I hadn't been able to receive. Thought for a moment, why is she giving me flowers? What have I done to deserve the flowers? Wow, those must have been really expensive. That's too much. I can't accept it, because then she's putting a value on me that I'm going to have to repay. If any of those thoughts would have prevented me from receiving those flowers with an open heart. Or the other thing that happens, and I'm very guilty of this, this is a big admission of mine, or you give me a gift and I don't like it. So I did recently receive a gift from somebody, and I'm not going to say who it was or what it was, because the gift itself was beautiful, that I'm receiving something from the person. But the thing that I was given, I'll never use it. It's not really and immediately it was given to me and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder who I can give this to, because somebody will appreciate it, but I don't. And I know that sounds really bad, doesn't it? And it does make me feel a little bit guilty, because somebody had gone to the effort of giving me a gift that I didn't appreciate. So the two things, that one is that I can't receive because I've got all this counting going on in my head, and it's like receiving and giving is a competition, so you have to keep up the score. Well, that takes all of the heart out of it. The heart does not count. The head counts. The head knows numbers and logics and all that rational stuff, but the heart doesn't. If the heart is open, it can constantly receive and it can constantly give, and it's like there's no difference between the two. There is no difference, so there's nothing to count. And then there's the giving me a gift that I don't really like. And it's terrible, isn't it? But I'm sure it's happened to all of us. I'm sure we've all received something and we've had to force that, oh, thank you, that's great. Well, it's not great. What is really great, though, is that somebody thought about me. Somebody wanted to make me smile. Somebody wanted to light me up. Somebody wanted to connect to my heart. Now, I know that actually you can connect to my heart with just a smile, with just a word, with just being in my presence. If your heart and my heart are open, we automatically connect on a heart-based level. So the giving of material gifts is not necessary for us to have a heart connection. And I also know that when I receive a gift that I love, when I receive something that I know is going to be beautiful and useful, and it's going to somehow, light up my life in a way that's new to me in this moment, because I've just received something new. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And I also appreciate now that even if somebody gives me a gift that I judge as it's, I don't need it, don't like it, not interested, I can still really appreciate the act of their giving, and I can receive their love. And receiving their love is much deeper and much more, and it's easier to do than trying to think about the gift, trying to think about the counting, or do I like it, or am I going to use it, or any of these other thoughts. So being in the heart, and being in the heart is really our natural place to be. Being in the heart, being in the body, feeling that we've got this massive amount of ourself, of our physical self here in this body, and yet we spend so much time in this little head. This head is noisy. This head is constantly thinking. It's constantly sucking in all our attention, our awareness, our consciousness. But when we learn, the more we learn about ourselves and the more we learn about the sort of personal development, personal growth, all of those great things, actually, I believe what we're learning is we're learning to reconnect to more of ourselves. We are great. We are amazing. We are powerful. There's that beautiful poem, isn't there, by Marianne Williamson, about our fear. Our fear is not of being small. Our fear is actually of recognizing how great we are. We are amazing. We are just huge and powerful and beautiful. And each of us as an individual is absolutely extraordinary. And this was another word that Marina brought up this morning, is we believe that we're not extraordinary. We believe we have to do something to earn respect or love or appreciation. But actually just being. And if in just being, we can begin to learn how to love ourselves. We can begin to learn how to appreciate ourselves. We can begin to learn how to accept ourselves. So there's lots of A's here. There's awareness. The first step in the direction of any self-growth, any improvement in my life, is for me to become aware. Now, this is the work that I've been doing with the amazing Cheryl Chapman, who's another host here on Radio Works World. Cheryl is my business partner, and she's just an amazing woman. She's got so many fantastic skills. Asking great questions is one of Cheryl's skills. And we put together these 3 steps of just what do you need to do to have a better life? That's all we wanted to know. The question in her head a few years ago was, is this all there is? Is this it? Is this all there is? So she's in this little box. Is this all there is in this little box? So the first step to realizing that, wow, there is so much, because that's the opposite question of, is this all there is, isn't it? Or the answer to it, is this all there is? No, there is so much. There's more than we can ever imagine. And so the first step into more than we can ever imagine is to become aware. And once we become aware, then learning how to accept and learning how to love, or not even learning, remembering. Because I believe that in order for us to get back to a place where we truly accept ourselves, we truly love ourselves, we need to unlearn all of the conditioning. We need to unlearn the roles, the rules, the regulations. We need to deprogram our mind, deprogram our personality, dismantle this identity, take off the coat that of the little small person that I think I am. Take off that coat and become the beautiful, radiant goddess that I am. And I see it in other women all the time, but I still find it difficult to recognize it's who I am, because this programming is so deep, and its roots are deep because its roots go beyond me. They go into the past. They go into my mom and her mom and her mom and her mom and her mom. They go deep. They go into my teachers and their teachers and their teachers. And so these roots of all of this conditioning are so very, very deep. But unless I can dig up those roots, which is the awareness, really finding where all of this conditioning, this noise, this programming that stops me realizing just how magnificent I am, until I can become aware of that, then there's very little I can do about it. But when I become aware of it, then I can start to say, so what's the next step, is to start to set intentions. So the intentions would be around, how do I really want to feel? What do I really want to do? And there's great questions, aren't there? If there was no financial constraints, no material constraints at all in your life, in any way, shape or form, what would you choose to be? What would you choose to be if there were no restrictions, no limits, no blocks? How would you choose to feel? What would you choose to have, do, be, experience? So all these great questions begin to develop our intention. And then the final step is an M. So we've got aim, awareness, intention, and M for manifest. And manifest is make it happen, or move your ass, as we often say. It's about taking action and making that answering that question of who do I want to be? Become it. And how do we become it? We have to do the deprogramming. We have to become aware of the programming. We have to understand what we want to do with it, and then find the tools, tips, and techniques that will help us to manifest exactly who it is I want to be, how I want to be in this world, what I want to do in this world, what I want to have, what I want to experience. I want to make those all happen. So you've got this beautiful, simple system. Become aware, find what the really deepest intention is. That involves your life purpose. Finding your why is what we've labeled it. And then manifest. Manifest the life that you truly desire and deserve. And we are all absolutely deserving of everything. We all deserve everything. Be that good, be it bad, be it indifferent. The word deserve, the more you understand and appreciate, accept and love yourself, the more you know that the word deserve is insignificant. It's not about deserving. And yet we allow that word deserve to block us. And actually that ties in really nicely, doesn't it? Because if we don't believe that we deserve people to help us, does that stop us from believing that other people deserve our help? Does that mean that we then don't play out our fullest self in the society, in the communities that we live in? And so we end up with everybody deserving nothing because we've measured it in some weird way about the conditioning and the programming in our minds. We all deserve everything, and that includes the best, the greatest, the biggest, best possible ever. So when we play small, when we don't want to receive, there's always very good reasons. There's good programs. They've been put in place that have stopped us from feeling that we can receive, or that we deserve to receive, or that we are worthy of receiving. But those programs are not the truth. They're not true. Everyone is entitled to have the life that the best life that they can. Everyone is entitled to have the best life that they can. And at the same time, we are all completely responsible for who we are. So the sooner we become aware of who we are, the sooner we become aware of what the intentions that we have in life are, the sooner we can manifest the life that will make us really happy, will make us fulfilled, will make us satisfied. And when I'm happy, and when I'm fulfilled, and when I'm satisfied, everybody and everything that I come into contact with will automatically receive some of you. So it's the best I can be in myself and for myself automatically translating the best I can be in this world, the best I can be for everybody around me. Because as I shine my light about my power and my magnificence, my goddessness, then it gives other people permission to do the same. So, Marina, goddess, beautiful friend, are you there? Will you join me? And
did I
answer your question?
Yes, in many, many ways. And as always, you made me think about something I never thought before.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about paying back or paying forward, which are totally different things, and that it's a reflection of our ability, or each one of us' ability is a very personal choice to accept and receive as well as give. But you made me think that compassion actually is the holy grail of who you are. And compassion is a very short definition, and maybe it's wrong to conclude about those concepts, but this is what you made me think. Compassion is nothing but giving and receiving, because everything is energy.
Yes.
When I found those flowers, I wasn't planning to go flower shopping or anything like that, but I saw those roses, and they're just amazingly red and yellow and honey and all that amazingness. I never seen it before. I never seen such roses before. So for one reason or another, I just thought of you, and I thought, oh my God, this is like Marion. It's exactly like you. So I could not help it. I had to give it to you because they are who you are in my mind.
Oh.
So you see, that godliness you're talking about, when you feel that and you allow that, you receive that feeling, and you allow that feeling, is so much of it that the only choice is for you to pay it forward. So I don't believe in paying back, because paying back is something you had to do.
Yes, but the paying back is that counting. It's all this, you give me, I give you. You give me, I give you.
Exactly.
And then if you lose count, you feel guilty.
Exactly. And then there is a danger that you won't be able to pay back.
Yes.
And that feeling will stop you from going ahead and receiving.
Yes.
Simply because you don't deserve that much. Simply because you feel you are not capable of paying back. Simply because you feel that great, amazing gift is not something you are ready for. And coming back to receiving, I think is a certain, how should I put this? A certain button for authority, self-authority, or releasing your inner vision, your inner greatness, inner teacher, inner leader, that once you press that button, it's like, I don't know if you go to church, I don't, but I believe in the high energy. I believe in energy, and everybody's different, of course. But some people go to church once a week and they think that's all right. That makes it all right. So whatever they do during the week is not relevant, because they will go to church and they will receive the blessings.
Yeah.
And to me, that is like looking at the glass, which is half full, and saying it's half empty.
Yes.
Because in reality, in real life, I mean, the life I know, and the life each one of us lives, and you make choices, and it is about being ready and being able to receive whatever there are blessings or whatever they are coming your way, and being able to do that all the time, not only one day of the week. You don't just you are not a child of God just because you go to church once a week.
Yes.
It's the opposite. I mean, I don't know. It could be a lot to this, and of course, we don't have another 2 weeks to not stop talking about this. But I really think that coming from a place of joy, not from a place of pain. You know, most people say, I've been through this, and I've done this, and I've done that, and I suffered this, and so then they are giving you almost like a stab, you know, like, oh, I have to feel guilty because they've been through so much and I didn't.
Yes.
And in reality, we are all coming from a place of joy. When my parents created me, or the energy through them made me a human being, I carry that joy.
Yes.
I'm so humanly joyful with no reason. I don't need a reason to be happy. And many times, and perhaps you know, in London, people got sort of that long face like a standard, and people will ask you, what are you happy about? What are you smiling about?
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I thought, blimey, if I'm not allowed to be happy with no reason, do I need a reason for that? But then going to Asia in many times in the last 4 years, I realized that actually, I don't need to be told how I feel. I don't need anyone to tell me who I am.
Yeah.
I am a divine, tiny diamond. I'm a piece of joy. I'm a masterpiece. I cannot miss that in my life. I cannot miss that feeling. I cannot simply not be the light on somebody else's dark sky, or like Maya Angelou said, the rainbow on somebody else's cloud. I cannot not give me that chance. Receiving things from your clients who cannot pay you, or receiving things from clients who can pay you, and are grateful for paying you. In our industry, it is a very vast subject.
Yes.
Because it's to do with their worth. So once you, to me, is all about helping them understand their true worth. For me, it's never about anything else.
Yes.
So, of course, once you become aware of your worth, you are going to say yes to yourself every single time.
Yes.
So every single time I have the opportunity to become the opportunity, I'm going to say yes. I'm saying yes even without knowing. I'm ready. I feel I'm born ready. So I think this is that feeling of that defines us. I don't like to put labels or tags on people or anything, but I think that primarily there are two categories of times in your life when you are a paying back person or a paying forward person.
Yeah. And it's much easier to be a paying forward person because you don't have quite so much to remember. You can be more open to what is.
But when you are a paying back person, so that's it, from here to here, from there to there, it's not only that you limit your vision, your universe, your feelings, everything you are about, but you are in effect denying your chance to let the energy you receive flow. When somebody, so recently was my birthday, and my children gave me a huge gift. I was like, I really felt it's not appropriate, like I really felt, but because they're my children, I knew it's not that they are expecting something of me, or it's for them, it's paying forward. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that, the fact that they enjoyed it so much.
Yes.
So like you said, I didn't really, I wasn't ecstatic about the gift because I'm well without, but I enjoyed their energy.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not stopping the energy, because once you receive something and you put it there, you put the brakes, then what happens? Nothingness.
No.
So from the holiness of receiving, you go into the nothingness of not receiving, of not accepting, of not growing through that process. It is a growing process.
Yes.
It is helping you grow into the person who can receive.
Yeah.
Wow, Marion, I know we don't have much time left. I just need to ask, what is the key message for today, Marion?
The key message for today is to allow yourself to receive. That's it.
Wow. Until next time, practice receiving and come back to Radio World and come back and join us. Come along. We have a great, amazing experience ahead of us. And I can't wait to see Marion speaking from that stage, which is a stage we create for the greatness in you. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye.